In this video, we're going to take you through what's new in the January 2023 release for Act Premium Cloud. Now, these enhancements will affect new customers on a trial, but also our existing customer base as well. So let's dive in and take a bit of a look. So the first thing you may notice straight away, if you just take a look at the navigation bar, is that we have updated the user interface of the cloud product. So some of the colors have changed, we've used more modern fonts and labels as well. We'll call these out a little bit as we take a look today. Now, the obvious change to the welcome screen is this new What's New container on the right hand side. So this useful addition is designed to make sure all of our customers are kept fully abreast of all the updates we provide for the cloud product. We'll be updating this periodically, so as customers view the welcome screen, they'll be able to access really useful information immediately. We've also provided further links to a huge range of free resources, such as the training webinars that you can see down here, information on Act Marketing Automation, and even the ability to sign up for updates as well. We hope that this container will really assist our customers in feeling more engaged with the company and supported in using the product, especially since we will be able to update it going forward and keeping everyone well informed about updates that we have. Now, there's one thing here I'd like to highlight that will specifically affect any customers who have signed up for a trial. We've taken the step of automatically adding demo data to the trial experience, so let me just show you what this means. If I pop into the contact section here, and we'll take a look at our list view. Now, just while we're doing that as well, you may notice that we have updated again a lot of the colors, a lot of the fonts, and some of the icons here. So in the toolbar, you can see along here, we previously just had icons, but we've now put labels next to them just to make it a little bit more obvious what these features do. But if we're looking at the list here, you can see we have a number of demo records along here. So essentially anything where you see demo in brackets next to it, that would be a demo record that's automatically been added to that trial experience. These are contained throughout the database, so you will see records for contacts, for groups, for companies, for opportunities, history, activities, all of them. And when you see the demo in brackets next to the record name, that means obviously that this is a demo record. So this is all to give a new customer a sample of how the program works and the kind of things that they can accomplish with it. Being able to easily identify them in this way means that you're never going to confuse them with any of your legitimate data. And if we go back to the welcome screen, we'll see here that it's very easy to remove that demo data at any time. You just click this button here and it'll get rid of all of it. And once you do, this button will then update to say insert demo data if you ever do want to add that back in at any time. Okay, let's move on to the biggest change that you'll see in this update, and that is our move towards using modals instead of pop-up windows. Let me demonstrate this. So if I was to take something like the Manage Users console in Tools and Manage Users here. Now previously, this would have launched a pop-up window. So another window would open up in your browser just like this one. This is what you would have seen previously. Now pop-ups are not ideal. They can be tricky to keep track of, especially if you open quite a few different windows, and they might be prevented from opening entirely by a pop-up blocker. Now, because Act Premium Cloud is such a function-rich program, in the past that necessitated a lot of different pop-up windows. So we're now making a concerted effort to replace these with modals instead. So this is what a modal would look like. Now, a modal launches directly within the program, as you can see here. It doesn't require any further pop-ups, and it prompts the user to complete the required action before they move on, giving a much more focused experience and ensuring that you don't get lost within pop-ups. So this will remain a focus of development within Act Premium Cloud, but already we've replaced a large number of pop-ups with modals, including notes, histories, activities, manage users, as you can see here, define fields, the import wizard, check and repair data, and many more as well. Now, the majority of these modals work in exactly the same manner that familiar users will be used to. Again, looking at manage users as an example here, you can see we have the same options on the left as before, in the same locations, and they work in the same way. They perform the same functions. Where we have made a few changes, though, are in histories and activities, so we're going to take a look at those now. Let's see what happens when we create an activity. Now the options that we have within this screen remain the same, but we've taken the opportunity to improve the flow a little bit and move them around. For example, we would have had yet another pop-up when you click the Schedule For button. Now this option has been moved to the top of the window and takes the form of a drop-down list instead. This is a key difference in the use of modals. So previously there were actually quite a lot of further pop-up windows that you had to make use of. So if you wanted to add in contacts, for example, or associate a group or an opportunity, they'd have additional pop-up windows. You can see though we've changed them to expandable sections within the modal itself. So for example, if I'm scheduling with here, if I want to add additional contacts, I just click this option here and it will expand the section that we've got there, and then I can search for my contacts exactly as I did previously. So I'd find my contacts, add them in if I want to. And I can click on this to hide those records again. And the same goes with associate with. If I want to add in a group, a company, an opportunity, I expand this section here and then I can do so. If we were to look at a note or a history as well, you'll see those same expandable sections for adding contacts and associating other records as well. So you will see these in a few other areas. Now you may also notice that we don't have any further tabs when scheduling an activity. Again, previously we set up our activities to have a second tab for details and a third tab for recurrence. Now this is all efficiently kept within the one modal screen instead. So if you scroll down a little bit, we've got our recurrent section. We can expand that and decide if this is a recurring activity. And we have our details appearing at the bottom here. Now, the final thing that I want to demonstrate in this video is what happens when you complete an activity, as this is potentially a slightly different workflow since moving towards modals. So let me just actually schedule this here. So I'm just going to call this Steve's meeting. Details go here, and I will save this. And I'm going to pop into my task list. And I'm just going to complete this activity now. So I'm going to just tick this to complete it. Now I notice that the complete activity is a pop-up still. So as I say, we are moving towards using modals more and more, but for now, when we complete an activity, we are still making use of a pop-up. But the big difference here is save and follow up. So previously, you would have had a follow-up button. And when you click that, it would launch another pop-up window where you could schedule a follow-up activity if you wanted to do that. Now, again, this is a little bit problematic. Launching that additional window means you need to be very careful to complete both before moving on. It could easily result in errors. So what we've done now, because we're making use of this modal, you need to complete this entirely. You'd want to fill in all the information required, because when you click save and follow up, it will save this to the history, and then it will immediately launch the new activity modal that we've got. So just to demonstrate that, if I did save and follow up now, instead of leaving that window open as it would have done previously, it is going to save it straight away, and then it's launched the new activity here. Again, with the details as you would expect when you create a follow-up activity. So it's working in a similar way, but it's making use of the modal now. But that's the key thing to remember, is that we're using a save and follow-up button now. So you do need to make sure that you've completed all the appropriate information before you click save and follow up, because it will save it straight away. Now, in a similar way, if I create a history, again, you can see we're using a modal now for history. As we mentioned before, we have the expandable sections. But with histories, you can again create follow-ups. And again, in the past, that would have been a button. You would click it. It would launch a pop-up window. That would be yet another pop-up window that would allow you to schedule that activity. So now we have the save and follow-up button. So it will be the same thing. When I click save, it will save this history immediately and then launch another modal for the activity. So just be aware of that. If this is something that you make use of, make sure you've completed all of your information first before clicking save and follow up. And with that, we're at the end of our What's New video for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you enjoy using Act Premium Cloud.